Hey, what's up? I made my first $1 million by the time I was 32, and it took me about 3.5 years using the exact step-by-step strategies that I'm gonna share with you here. Now, for some folks, 32 might be late. For some, 32 might be early. I don't really know. But here's what I do know, is I was able to do it without having any business, any products, any services, any employees, or any of the stuff that most people think you need in order to create a substantial income. In fact, using the strategies that I'm gonna share with you here, I think just about anybody could do exactly what I did. So let me break down for you all 6 steps, step by step. Let's go. All right, so step number 1 was just getting clear about how I want to build a business. And I use a strategy that I call freelance marketing. In other words, in freelance marketing, I didn't have to have any products or services or anything to offer. Instead, I sold somebody else's products or services in exchange for a commission. So literally, I didn't have to deal with any of the customer support, fulfillment, customer hassles, tickets, all of the sorts of drama that most people have to deal with in business. I literally just took somebody else's product or service that they already had, connected an audience of people that were already interested in those things, and I just put myself in the middle of that transaction and earned a profit doing so. I'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a moment. The next step, once I knew that I was gonna do freelance marketing, is I decided to build my business around topics or interests that I found inspiring. For many, many years, I tried to build a business and I got involved in things just because of how much money I could make. Eventually, I burnt out. So instead, I decided if I'm gonna do this, then I wanna sell products or services that are in the niches that I'm already interested in so that I can build a business and be inspired about it, right? I don't need that external motivation to go do it and end up burning out. Instead, I'm inspired. It means, I'm from the spirit within. I want to wake up every day and go do it. And so for me, that was things on wealth building, business building, advertising, sales, and health and fitness. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a moment as well. So the next thing that I did after I got clear about what exact topics or niches that I want to be in is I started using paid strategies in order to grow an audience that was interested in these things that I wanted to begin selling. So let me go ahead and break that down for you in more detail. Literally the only thing that we need in order to start building a business, 1, an offer, number 2, an audience. So we need a product or service that people are wanting to buy, and we need an audience of people that either has a problem that they want solved or a desire that they want fulfilled. In other words, this audience has an interest in that potential product or offer or service, and if I can just connect the two, that audience will likely buy that thing. Now, before I just sent that audience over to the offers that I was interested in selling, what I did first is a little bit of reverse engineering. So I would put myself in between the audience and the offer. And I did that using what I call landing pages or sales funnels, or basically these simple little websites on the internet that I drove people to, and I would collect their contact information and build my own following in the process of connecting them with the offer or product or service that they might ultimately be interested in. So in other words, if I were selling something on wealth building, I might build a simple little PDF about 5 ways to build wealth. Maybe if I was selling a product or service on advertising, I might do a case study, a simple PDF that's a case study of 5 ads, online ads, Facebook ads maybe, that generated over $1 million, right? So I'd put together these simple little PDFs or cheat sheets, or what we call in the industry lead magnets, and then I would advertise those things in front of an audience of people that was already interested in that. In other words, they were going to like Google or YouTube and they were typing in how to build more wealth or how to make more money with ads or something like that. Or their behavior on other platforms like Facebook showed that they were interested in those types of topics. Then what I did is I placed ads in front of these folks, drove them over to a page, and on that page I would say, hey, here's this cool thing that I have to give you right now. Just go ahead and give me your email address in order to get access to it, and I'll send it direct to your inbox. So, and you've probably seen pages like this on the internet. This is a pretty popular strategy these days. So I would collect their email address, and then I would immediately send them over to the offer that I wanted to promote. And because I had their email address, I was able to continue to follow up with them about the offers, products, or services that I was selling. So I would use these emails to overcome their potential objections, share with them testimonials and proof that the product or service was working, these sorts of things. The other thing that I did through their email, I would tell them then to connect with me on social. So this would be platforms like Twitter or Facebook. Those are really the only ones that I was on at the time that I was using these strategies. So not only did I collect their email address, but I then repurposed them over to my social media sites like Twitter and Facebook in this example, where I told them, hey, connect with me on social so we can stay in touch. And then I would also add to that phone. I would also give them incentives to give me their phone number, not me personally, but I would say, hey, text this code, this keyword to this, phone number, and I'll send you another cheat sheet or some sort of a gift in order for them doing so. And by them doing that, they would basically be opting into my SMS or text message marketing service. So now, in other words, what I was doing is I was building a web of communication that once I drove these ads into this landing page and was able to collect their contact info, then I was able to tell them, hey, connect with me on these different social platforms. Hey, would you be interested in this free gift? All you have to do is text into this phone number in order to get it. And now I have them on social media sites, email, and via text message. So I'm able to continue marketing to them and giving them more information about the offers or products or services that it is that I was selling. So in other words, instead of me going out and hunting for people and trying to find people who are interested in products or services that I had to offer, I paid a little bit of money in the form of advertising to put some sort of a free gift in front of them that they could get by just joining my contact list. And on the other end, I made more money than I spent in advertising, actually selling them the things that they were already interested in. And the difference between these two would ultimately be my profit. All right, let's keep going. I'm gonna go ahead and erase this really quick and let's dive into the next step. So the next step in this process would be monetizing with offers that they are already interested in. So again, I built an audience like I shared with you. They're interested in certain things. I found offers to sell them. So I used paid strategies to build an audience, and then I monetized that audience with offers like I just talked about. Now, next thing, email, web, webinars, lives, phone, all that sorts of stuff. So in other words, I communicated to that audience that I was building about the offers or services or products that I was promoting through email communication. I would often do sometimes webinars where I would build a whole presentation. A webinar is kind of like an online seminar where I'd build out an entire presentation about the product or service that I was trying to sell. I would do go lives on social media, on Facebook as an example, when those first became popular. And sometimes I would even tell people, hey, if you're interested in talking about this product or service that I'm offering, through this other company or whatever, then go ahead and call me. And they would call me. Sometimes I would just have them book an appointment with me, but I would get on the phone and I would actually make sales. Now, typically, I didn't get on the phone with somebody unless I had the ability to earn $1,000 commission or more. So that by that point, I was selling more high ticket products and services for other companies. The last step is to scale. I did this, and once I got it working, once I was making profits, I just continued doing more and more of the same. Let me break down for you what I mean by scale. So again, we have the offer, then we have the landing page or the sales funnel that we put in between the audience and the offer. And one of the things that I love about utilizing the strategy is it was instantly scalable. So let's say that I spent for the month $200 on advertising, but at the end of the month, and that, let me just back up for a moment. So that would mean that I spent $200 on advertising, people clicked on my ads, they went to my page, they entered their email, they joined my email list, I repurposed them to all of these other platforms, Twitter, Facebook, phone number, all that sorts of stuff. Plus, I followed up with them about the offers that I was promoting. Then on this end, I might make, let's say, $1,000 for that $200 that I spent over here. Well, if I spent $200 and made $1,000 back, well, then if I spent $1,000, wouldn't I make $2,000 back, right? If I spent twice as much, couldn't I make twice as much? Well, yes, theoretically, that is exactly what scaling is. In other words, I loved paid strategies far more than all the free stuff that people talk about. There's a lot of folks on the internet saying, go build a social media following and all that stuff, but it's just not scalable. It's not predictable. Instead, once I built a business that was predictable, where again, I'm not doing any customer fulfillment, I'm literally just connecting people with products and services that they were likely gonna end up buying anyway. And then once I had a formula that was working, I just kept spending more and more money on this front end, to the point that I eventually got to spending, I mean, today I spend a few $100,000 a month. I've spent as much as $1.2 million in a month. On the way to my very first million, I probably spent at best about $30,000 in a month on advertising. Of course, it didn't start there. It started with, $100 and something a month, then a few $100s a month, then a few $1,000s a month, then my first $10,000 in spending per month in a month, and then $20,000 and then $30,000 in a month. And as I'm doing that, I'm making back about anywhere from 3 to 10 times what I'm spending in ads. I'm making that back in returns. And again, it's just the process of doing it over and over and over again once I built a machine that was working. That's it. That's all 6 steps. I used freelance marketing because I realized over the course of many, many years of failure as a wannabe entrepreneur that if I could just learn how to generate customers. I didn't have to focus on the business, didn't have to focus on the services, didn't have to build any fulfillment, didn't have to hire employees. The number one reason that most businesses failed is because they didn't know how to go get customers. And if I could figure out that part, I would be an unstoppable force of nature in the marketplace. And that's exactly what I did. I figured out what the things were that I was already interested in so I could enjoy building the business. I used paid strategies to build the audience that I was going to eventually sell things to. I monetized that audience with offers that they were already interested in. I use communication channels like email, webinars, live broadcasts, phone, all that sorts of stuff, social media. And then once it was working, it was just the process of putting more and more and more money back into the front end of the business, and bang, things took off. Again, this whole process took me about 3.5 years or so to make my first million, and I've made tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars more since then. So hopefully you got value out of this. My name again is Keala Kanae. I'm the CEO and founder of Full Stack Marketer, along with a few other companies. Every single week, I drop content on you about how to create more success in your life and your business. If those are the types of topics that you enjoy, then make sure that you click the little like button, smash that subscribe button, join the bell squad, get notified every time that I put out new content, and please drop a comment down below and let me know if you love this content or not, and ask any questions that you would like me to answer in the future. I look forward to seeing you in a future video, my friend. Take care. Bye-bye.